Today I'm coming to you from something very unique. It's a Porsche diesel. This is the Cayenne, and it's about as big as an X5. It's definitely bigger than a Audi Q5 TDI. Rather than just say, oh yeah, why get an X5? I figured I would show you what the Porsche is all about in diesel flavor. And basically, right off the bat, I can tell you it's got a lot of special buttons. Actually, it's got buttons everywhere. Buttons everywhere is not an exaggeration. So, I still haven't even figured out what all these things do. It's kind of actually the fun part of getting into any car and going, well, I haven't read the manual yet, but let's see what we can do. And so you'll see here I have everything at my disposal, and well, this is bound to be one hell of a drive. I'm sure you want to see what it looks like, what it sounds like, and I'm very curious as well. So let me pop the hood. There it is, very simple. Actually, not much to it. If you're wondering what service is like on these things, it's really an oil change every 10,000 miles just about, and a fuel filter change every 20. That's the fuel filter. It's a canister, and the filter sits inside of there. It's very easy to replace because it's up on top, and you can just do it from up here. You get to a certain mileage point and you have to do other things, like all cars, but this is pretty much most of the time the little bit of service required. Sometimes you want a subtle Porsche. You want to be able to get away with doing things without grabbing too much attention to yourself, and that's sort of the beauty of one of these. The back seat area is much larger, and it's definitely more spacious in here. We also get a normal sunroof. We don't get the panoramic sunroof, but with Porsche, you have many options to choose from, and lots of things to push. Lots of buttons everywhere. It's not loud like the turbo, it just hums right along. Now, as far as pricing goes, you can get whatever you want on a Porsche, and this one in particular only has 3 relative options. It has the turbo wheels, and it has the premium package, and it has the HD infotainment system here. That's all this car has, and it's got the standard leather interior, so pretty much what you see is part of the premium package, which runs about $5 grand. When you get to a car at this price level, a couple $100 here or there, you just round it off. So I have a Tiptronic transmission in a diesel, and I have paddles in a diesel, and it's a ZF 8-speed automatic, just like you would get in most other new diesels, like the Q5 or the A6. And let's see what it's like. Electronic parking brake automatically disengages, and then we also have automatic locks when you start driving away. Now, this car has 96 miles on it. You know, diesels do have a break-in period. It's about 60,000 miles. You know, I don't drive things hard. This feels like it has an air suspension. That was nice. Let's see if I can see better. Can I see any of the air suspension buttons? There's some buttons. Sport mode, how about that? Oh yeah. You know, for the price of this and the size of this, I think what we compete with in other terms would be a well, an X5 diesel from BMW, and perhaps the Mercedes ML or the GLE, depending on what you're looking at, if they still have those in diesels in the US. And you know, compared to the Audi, which is 10 grand less plus, the Audi has side assist, so it will tell you when someone's in your blind spot, but the Audi does not have an air suspension, and the ergonomics in this Porsche, let me just show you here. The ergonomics in here are insane. I mean, everything is at my fingertips. Everything's within view. There's really nothing hidden. And there's just a lot for me to really take in at this point. So that's the only reason why I'm looking a little confused. The beauty of a turbo diesel in traffic is that you can just launch off the line immediately. Just, you're across the intersection by the time everyone else figures out what they've done, which is, you know, stop texting and put their phone down. You're already gone. And the Porsche is no exception, even in diesel. And it sounds weird, a diesel Porsche, but the way it feels and the way it sounds, it's very Porsche-like. I'll let you know that right now. It's definitely not like the Audi, even though we're all talking about the same family, you know, the Volkswagen Audi group. These V6 diesel engines are very powerful, very smooth, and very surprisingly quick. One thing I do have to note is that in the mirrors are really small, they're tapered at the end, so I don't really see what's next to me in that lane. And of course, I'm driving a car with a window sticker, so it's really hard to see back there. And without the side assist systems, I don't really know. I really have to really pay attention in here, which is fine. It's a driver-oriented car anyway. It's not like I'm going to be distracted by stuff. The power steering in here feels very natural, you know, like natural as in just like the hydraulic systems of before. And the turning radius, nice and tight. No complaints. I just made a U-turn on a road that's only 2 lanes wide with parking on either side in a residential area. So would I be comfortable making U-turns in this car? Yes. Oh yeah. Diesels don't redline. I mean, they have this surge of torque and then they switch gears at a low range. You know, when you're used to gas engines and revving it out to redline 6,000 RPM, you can't do that in a diesel. Diesels have a lot of grunt low down, and then when you get past about 2,000 or 2,500 RPM, that turbo is kicking in, and you get a surge, and what that means is you get this wave of torque at all times, and it just delivers this satisfaction, and it has this grunt and this growl in this V6 diesel engine that you don't get in a lot of gasoline engines these days. And I'm a very big fan of this because you're able to launch off the line and not create any noise on the outside with a loud system, exhaust system, and inside the car you're not really scaring anybody. You just get this rush of acceleration. It's a wave of torque, and the only downside here is that the wave of torque comes with a undertow or undercurrent, and that undercurrent is you constantly putting your foot in it to experience a surge and rush of power and acceleration. It's just an addiction, and you'll never get over it. And I don't mind that, actually. It's just that when you finally do get used to driving a diesel, or when you get into a diesel your first time, especially a V6 diesel, whether it's a Porsche or an Audi or a BMW or a Mercedes, when you hit a diesel and you want to accelerate, you have to do it a different way. So just put your foot in it a little bit and then roll in. Don't expect it to behave like a gas engine, because it's not. Diesels are very forgiving and very consistent. That's why I believe a car like this would be very good for a commute. If you wanted to elevate your ride into something a little bit more posh, let's just say you had an Audi Q5 TDI and you wanted something a little bit bigger, take the Porsche. Plus, you know, when you get to a certain age, saying I have a Porsche sounds pretty good. I would approve of that. This interior, though, is insane. I can't get enough of it. There's just so much to look at and so much to take in. And even though you might have seen things once or twice and there's so many buttons, you actually know where it is. There's a logical layout to where everything is placed. And it's beautiful. It really is. It's just, bam, cool my seats. Fold the mirrors in. Open the sunroof. I like it. Integrated garage door buttons. LED lights. Wow. There's just things everywhere for me to touch and see, and just, wow, it's everywhere. The feel of the steering wheel has this flat feeling to it, so when you grip it, you really do get a nice wide feeling from the top, I don't know, 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock positions. You really can get your hands around it. Yes. Even sitting high up in a Porsche doesn't feel so odd. These seats are very comfortable. And don't forget that the Cayenne saved Porsche for quite a while, because in the 90s Porsche was struggling and the Boxster came out, and that almost rescued the company. Or maybe it did rescue the company. The Getawayer would know more about that. And I do know that when the Cayenne came out, it was a ridiculous concept, a Porsche SUV. This is my first time in a Porsche SUV. First time driving one, first time sitting in one, first time in one that's actually on. And I feel right at home. And maybe that's why it was a very good seller for them, and it still is. And now they've got a diesel version, of all things. Just, you know, Porsche is really blowing my mind here. I guess if you're not used to Porsches, you know, the whole layout of the gauges would kind of catch you out. Like, where's the speedometer, and, you know, how fast am I going? But there's a display in the center that shows me how fast I'm going, and just overall, the layout itself is clean. And I actually have GPS in the gauge, and I have GPS here in the center screen. So everything is at my disposal. It's just a matter of how do I want it. And the new car smell, you can't beat the new car smell in a Porsche. So you just set the parking brake, it's electronic. And the best part is the key is on the left side, and it actually looks and it's shaped like a Porsche. That's fun. The seat automatically moves back when you open the door, comes into a preset position. And let's check out the back.